Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act.
In this week's episode of the Kindness Project, we talk about bingo, pottery, and a part 2 of our interview with Tanveer and her sisters from the Five Diamonds Mentorship.
Good morning, afternoon, evening. Welcome to the Kindness Project. I'm joined by a girl who dragged me to drag bingo, and a man who finds coding a lot of fun. It's Charlotte and Russell Dames. How are we doing, chaps?
Let's forget about how we're doing. I want to hear all about drag bingo.
Well, I got perhaps the biggest compliment in my last week. I got the biggest compliment I've ever had last week.
What is that? Your girlish good looks.
The drag queen said to me, "Do you want to share it with us, or should I share it with us?"
Yeah, you do it. I don't know what it was.
Yes, you do remember what it was, because I've reminded you about 12 times since last night. She said, basically, have you ever been to drag bingo, Raz?
Oh, no.
So drag bingo is bingo, which I'm not too keen on, but every time they pull out a number, it comes with a song. And it's all quite entertaining. It's a bit more of a show than bingo. It was really good fun, and everybody was getting involved and having a laugh and doing a bit of dancing. And
help me understand. Is it men dressed as women doing bingo?
No, it's a drag queen running a bingo game.
well, a drag queen is typically a man dressed as a woman.
That's not my understanding.
It wasn't, was she? Ginger wasn't. So our one was a woman dressed as a
drag queen.
Drag queen. I see. I didn't realise.
No, you can. Yeah.
Well, I didn't realise you could have female drag queens.
You can. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you about that. Actually, I didn't have the chance because I thought it was a woman.
It's less about like dressing like a woman and more of like
elaborate, flamboyant.
It's
the
fashion of
Yeah. So we had a drag queen who's a woman dressed as a slightly more flamboyant woman, but she was brilliant, wasn't she? She was really good. But anyway, so the number 5 comes out in drag bingo, Ras.
Yeah.
The pop band 5 comes on, and she points to me and says, "And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we've got one of the ex-members of 5." Now they were all good-looking chaps, right?
Which member was it?
I don't know, because I don't know any of the members of 5. Anthony Costa was one. There was a black guy, wasn't there?
5 before last night.
Are you hearing this, Russ? What did 5 sing? If you've got the feeling, jump into the. Come on, we all know 5.
We don't all know.
I know of 5.
We all know 5.
I know of 5, but
I'm aware of their work. I'm aware of their work. But yeah, so that was the compliment I got. But we had a great time. We had an amazing time. So I don't know how drag bingo goes down.
Oh, is that where you were? Yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
So tell Rose what else we did.
So we went and did some pottery painting. My fingers were incredibly messy and very, very blue.
You said you went there to do pottery painting a little while back, didn't you? Oh no, you did do pottery painting up.
I did pottery painting in Glasgow, and then I dragged Dad to one down here, and he did a beautiful beach scene with trees or metal pipes. I don't remember what you said they were.
Trees and metal pipes.
Did you get to take on the pot?
Well, it's got to go in the kiln. So once it goes in the kiln, then we've got to go and pick it up in a couple of weeks.
Collect it.
But yeah, so we'll see how they come out. But it was you know what? I don't know how you find or you've done anything like this. I find just doing arty, creative stuff
Pottery.
quite cathartic.
I love a bit of pottery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you and Kelly got a wheel like
No.
ghost style? Oh my love, Is that what we're talking about?
I apologise, audience, for his.
I'm not more the green bricks guy. Yeah, you told me when I'm doing me pottery and I smash
Say we were saying actually yesterday because where we did it. I mean, we were all over London yesterday. We went west and then north and then back east again.
Yeah.
The place we did it was in Kentish Town.
Oh yeah.
And it was quite a nice area, Kentish Town, wasn't it? But we were saying, what would we clubs be like? And my assumption was that if you didn't like it, you'd just smash it all about. Do you know what I mean? That's what happened. But yeah, so your version's what?
Have you never seen the green bricks advert where she says to him, "I didn't pay no commission on selling my house," and he smashes her vase.
Purple bricks, you mean?
Purple bricks.
I don't know what green bricks is. I don't know what green bricks is. So tell me, see, when you're talking about the catharsism of coding, I get that. Because, like, that then you're in a flow state, aren't you? You're in, like, you're just...
It's not so much that. I think there's a challenge in coding. Even though I'm quite competent, there's still a challenge.
Yeah.
Like I said to you at the beginning of the year when I took a step back from Sabello and doing the bookings and that, there was no challenge in that. And so you enter into a state where you're sort of doing samey things all the time. For me, I need a challenge to keep me sort of interested. Something that activate my mind and make me question what I'm doing.
Well, that flow state, I get that with writing, I think. That flow state is really important, actually. Well. And we need that. We were talking about it yesterday, wasn't it? You need that, like, I think you need that. If it's too easy and too comfortable, it's actually not enjoyable because you get settled in a comfort zone, but actually comfort all the time isn't particularly good for our mental health. We need a bit of...
I'm finding that.
Yeah.
Finding that more recently that I need something different.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, hello.
Sounds like a cat's being killed down your room, mate.
That's only Charlotte. Charlotte's going to give us some kindness news, Russ.
I just gave you some kindness. Oh, you meant the song.
Not the song.
Small acts of kindness are frequent and universal by study. A lift with the shopping, sharing the household chores, or simply making a cup of tea for someone. We often lend a hand without giving it a second thought, so is it possible that we are inherently kind? Maybe so, according to a new study, which revealed how small gestures of kindness are both frequent and universal across a range of cultures, from European towns to rural villages in the global south. Researchers led by the University of California poured over 40 hours of video footage recording moments in the everyday lives of 350 people in diverse locations, from England to Ecuador, Laos to Australia. They looked for moments when one person signaled for help when struggling with a small task, for example, and received it from another, discovering that on average people ask for help every 2 minutes. More often than not, 79% of the time, they get it. This was consistent across cultures and was influenced by the relationship between the individuals involved. The study found that people provided assistance without explanation, while those who refused a request offered a specific reason 74% of the time, suggesting they only refuse to help when they have a valid reason. Researchers focused on a small, low-cost decision, with lead author and UCLA sociologist Giovanni Rossi pointing out that high-cost exchanges are often shaped by cultural influences, such as rules of established protocol, but he concluded the findings suggest that being helpful is simply part of human nature. When we zoom in on the micro level of social interaction, cultural difference mostly goes away, and our species' tendency to give help when needed becomes universally visible, he said.
Love that. And I 100% 100% agree. I think interestingly, this conversation around like they there's this like argument that I don't subscribe to, and because it's a mistranslation of the research, where people talk about survival of the fittest and this individualistic culture, and the reality is, humans have evolved to help each other.
Well,
That's why we've thrived as a species, because we are collaborative,
I
kind.
agree with that, but there is a certain element to you have to survive, and it is survival in the fittest. But in effect, you can't survive.
The survival of the fittest.
You can't survive on your own. No matter
Exactly.
how fit you are, you can't survive on your own.
Exactly. Survival. It's interesting. Survival of the fittest means survive. Like, it doesn't mean fittest. It means survival of the skills and attributes that you need to do the best in the world. And actually, collaboration, helping each other, working together. And we know that. I wrote about it. I haven't read the book yet. I better do that. I wrote about it in the Kindness Project book.
Yeah.
You look at the chemicals that get released in your body when you just help.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I love helping people because of the way it makes me feel.
Exactly. So just a realization of that chemical impact and the fact that it makes us feel good, I think is an absolutely brilliant thing to do. So thank you for sharing that article. I want to move on to the interview now. We've got part 2 of the interview with the Five Diamonds, Tanveer, and all of her amazing sisters. I love what these guys are doing, because what they're doing is helping the next generation work out what their lives are going to look like by giving them some really important career guidance. If you've not listened to the last episode yet, that was part 1 of this interview. Please feel free to go back and visit that and enjoy part 2.
Yeah.
So I suppose the big question then is, if you had a magic wand, what would you change about the education system to make it more relevant?
You know, I think
that's quite a...
yeah, that's quite a tricky question as to what you would change in the education system.
I mean, it's really interesting. So the reason I asked that is because I try. Sorry, can you just mute your? Thank you. Because I can hear the feedback. I think I'd change. I'd be interested in your insight on it, Charlotte. I think I'd make education potentially a bit more practical, and look at I'll give you an example. One of the things that we do in our business is sponsor a classroom of kids through a financial education program. And we did that a few years ago. Went back to the school the following year, and they said, look, we haven't got the scope in the syllabus to now deliver financial education this year for the kids. And I think, academia is super important, but I do wonder whether we get the balance right between, business skills and I don't know is the answer.
Yeah, I totally agree. agree. And I think we've had this conversation before in the past with all 5 of us where, that kind of model where it's kind of like an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So it's not just all theory. You are actually putting a lot of it into practical place, especially for the more practical jobs. Sort of 5 years for medicine and dentistry, it's a lot of years, it's a lot of years, but I think we have had this discussion before, sort of more sort of practical based learning, definitely.
Yeah. And I think a combination of the two might be the solution, mightn't it? But who knows? Thankfully, I'm not a politician, so I haven't got to make these decisions. I'm glad for that. Now, I know that people who attend your program then join the alumni, and then they get additional support. What does that support look like?
So yeah, I think the alumni part of the program is an essential part of any organisation. We have just started out, but we are, collecting a database of all of our students that attend the courses, and they have our ongoing information after they've completed the course. So it's kind of maintaining and continuing that relationship and communication between us and them.
Yeah.
Very much open access in this, that at any point in their their training, their career, even when they've become established, it's knowing that they've got that access to us for ongoing guidance, support, whatever it needs to be. Because I think whatever profession we go into, it's important to have that buddy system and that network, because we're always going to come across challenges and situations where we just need to get that, advice from someone. That's not so it is, it's something that is fairly, open. And ultimately, we hope that these students that become professionals in whichever career they decide will then mentors within the organisation and help others as we are aiming to do. So it's more for kind of a general kind of access at the moment until we establish ourselves further.
So two questions on that. What's the most surprising question a member of your student body has asked you after the event? And how important do you think networks are when you're going into a certain profession?
So I run the medicine courses, and the students that come to these courses are, they're young, they're 14 onwards, and they're very passionate. Some of them are very passionate about wanting to go into medicine and surgery, and I would say that, surprisingly, most of the questions tend not to be about what's good about the career, but what's bad about it and what are the negative aspects of it.
Okay.
One of the talks we gave on surgery, and very direct questions about, have you ever made a mistake? Have you ever made an error? What if it does go wrong? And so I think it is important to make sure that the information we provide is, it's balanced, and it's not just pushing a certain career, for example, medicine, but giving a balanced and honest view of what that entails, and also reassuring and making sure that the students are aware that it is important. And going on to the next question, the network and having that support system is so important, because every profession has challenges, has stresses, and in a time that we are, the climate that we're in now, it's very easy to get burnt out. We're seeing a lot of that in medicine, dentistry, and in all the professions that we're seeing around us. So having that ability to have that mentor within your work is essential, but also outside of work, I think, with people who are not involved directly, to have that ability to communicate and just try and get some kind of a sense of, whatever situation.
Perspective, right?
Exactly, perspective. I have a mentor within my own hospital, and I think that is something that we need to be making sure every business has, because it's essential to make sure we carry on, doing the jobs that we all love without having to be brought down by all the other stresses around us.
I think that's a really interesting point, isn't it? Because I think, all of us, but professionals in particular, you can sometimes take the responsibilities you've got really seriously, but also that you get stuck in your own head sometimes, and making sure you've got that out there and people to help you is really important. So that you made a really interesting point there about mistakes. How do you educate the if this is what you say, and if it's not, let me know. But how do you educate the students and the people who are thinking about your potential career that mistakes will happen and that's a learning opportunity? Or have you got a different perspective on that?
No, I mean, obviously we focus it towards medicine, and it's we're not all perfect. We're not perfect. We will make mistakes, we'll make errors, and I think it's important to let our students know that it does happen, and there are certain there is a support mechanism out there, and it's about being honest and keeping your integrity and asking for help, and and it's all about ethics within medicine. We have to be transparent, but it's also about learning from that episode or that incident and making sure that changes are made so it doesn't happen again. But you know, it's not about putting blame to someone. It's about, you know, it's a team. It's always a team, and we kind of push the whole communication and teamwork ethos around our workshops, because that is essential skill to have if you want to go into these types of you know, health related professions, you know, and any profession. So yeah, it's you know, there's obviously a certain process around how we deal with our own mistakes and errors, but I think the most important message is that we accept it and we learn from it rather than letting it bring us.
100%. Yeah, completely get that. Charlotte?
So, talk to us a bit about the effects that mentoring has on your lives personally.
So, who mentors you, and how has that had a positive impact on your life?
So I'll first talk about on the mentoring side, and then obviously who mentors me. So, you know, I've always felt passionate about helping people, especially the younger generation, because, you know, part 5DM, you know, will mentor, inspire, and guide people. It gives myself, and I'm sure all my sisters as well, a level of personal satisfaction and fulfillment, you know.
Yes.
Because this is, you know, the career challenges which we've all been through, it's just assuring the young people, you know, that they're not alone in dealing with it. And we end up having strong mentoring relationship with the mentees as well. And, you know, you actually end up caring about them and how they're doing and how they're developing. And, you know, I see it as a great opportunity of giving back to the community, basically.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think I might have mentioned it when we spoke last time, Tanveer, but like that act of kindness that all of you guys do, you win as well, right? Because it makes you feel that you're giving back and doing something positive. I think it's a win-win.
Definitely. You know what? I don't just mentor through 5DM, even at your workplace, you know, people I currently work with, like even in the past jobs, you know, there's people reaching out to me who I've trained many years ago, asking me for career advice for a mentor. And just to think that, you know, out of everyone they know, that they reach out to you.
Yeah, it's privilege,
that you
isn't
have,
it?
yeah, you must have quite a positive impact on them. And it's just a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, when that happens, I think it's a testament to not only your professionalism, but also the fact that you're prepared. They know that you're prepared to help.
No, definitely. And like, as my mentor, so when I was at the stage of choosing a career path, considering accountancy, I remember that it wasn't easy looking for someone, or I didn't even know how to reach out to someone in that profession who I could seek advice from. But, you know, I've been lucky in a way that I didn't have to look too far for my mentors, because I've got my 4 older sisters here, you know.
Well, that's the interesting thing. And I'd imagine, because I know that because I do my research, clearly when I interview somebody, I've done my research. I know that the name comes from Dad, doesn't it? So Dad's sort of. So how important is family when thinking about mentorship? And do you consider each other your mentors as well?
Definitely. You know, so 5 Diamonds Mentorship. So our family name is Pancharatna, and in Bengali that means 5 diamonds. And you know, it's like starting from our parents, it's just instilled it all within us. You know, it's all about family orientated. And yeah, definitely I consider my sisters my mentor. You know, watching, you know, as I grow, watching them study hard to get to where they are now. You know, it's all about, even though they're not in the same career industry, you need that family network of giving you confidence, you know, inspiring you, reminding you of what to work towards.
But it's also, regardless of the profession, it's the attributes you need, right? And if you see that in other people doing it, it's good. Sarita, who's your mentor, and what have you benefited from?
A mentor. It's a tricky one, and it's quite maybe it's a bit of telling of the signs of like 20 years ago when I sort of entered dentistry. I think apart from our parents, which were a huge part of, you know, us sort of studying hard, you know, our sort of, for example, our father, which is it kind of all stems from, he arrived at this country when he was 15 years old. And he struggled to stay in school because of the language barrier. So he dropped out of school. And so his value for education is immense.
Huge.
Because huge. And I think that was the foundation of all 5 of us sort of, right, studying and working hard, and I think without that sort of support from our parents behind us, who knows which path we would have taken? Because I think everyone has potential. Every child has potential, but it's that environment and, like I said, that support system around you that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's that sort of. I think you get that a lot from a lot of people who come into the UK. They realise, and people who are sort of aspiring. So I'm from a really working class background, but they said, "Look, I want you to do better. Yeah, I want you to aspire."
Yeah.
So that sort of nudge. Was it a nudge or a push? I don't know. But
it was. You know what? I think we all kind of genuinely enjoy our professions. I think I don't know what else I would be doing if it, and even like we talked before about it not defining you. We all genuinely love what you do, and I think to be kind of successful in your industry, you have to enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%.
You need to have that passion, but I think also knowing that we always had that support behind us helped us take those steps forward. Like I said, just having that absolute sort of unconditional support from our parents really did help. So I would say they are my mentors, really. And even with setting up businesses, I mean, our father's is a successful businessman. So when we set up our businesses and that was who I went to for advice.
Of course, because it doesn't matter about the profession. You can learn from him about business, right?
Exactly, and we still do go to him for advice on anything business related, or sort of marketing or anything like that. So yeah.
Love it, absolutely love it. So talk to me a little bit about what the future looks like for Five Diamonds Mentorship and how you see the project evolving.
Okay, so we're quite a newly formed organisation. I think so far we've done quite well in the career events we've had so far. Where we see ourselves in the future, I think we're planning on having a larger careers event in Manchester, I think, early next year. And so we're working towards that. And our aim is to bring under one roof different professionals, so more professionals than we currently have in the organisation. So for that, we need to reach out to different professions nationwide, connect with them, collaborate with them to bring us all together under one roof. So in this careers networking, mentoring event, we can have students and parents and questions and answers and learning. So I think that's what we're looking at in the near future. But also what we're looking at is at the moment, our events are specific to the locations where we live. So Newcastle, Manchester and London. What we want to do is to reach out to nationwide, basically, to different cities across the UK and different professions. At the moment, again, we're limited to the professions that we're in, but students are interested in different professions. So again, we want to reach out to other different professions. And to do that, we need the word to get out there that we're here, we're an organisation, we're looking for collaboration with different professionals in different regions. Come and join us, help us in what we're doing, and let's all pay back together.
Love it. So, absolutely love it. Thank you for that. It's that's a great answer. And I suppose one of the things we want to do on the Kindness Project is help you showcase that work, right? That's the reason we're here. So who are you looking for? Let's do a shout out. Who are we looking for, and how do we make sure we get the right people?
I think. Yeah, go on, Samita now. Yeah, I think we're looking out, for any, again, sort of, there's no limit to the industries and the careers. So anyone who's out there who wishes to help students, I mean, this is all voluntary. That's another thing, and it's all voluntary. It's all charity. So anyone out there who's got that passion to help the next sort of generation, if you want to help give the kids an insight into your industry and willing to help, just please get in touch.
Love it.
But I think also what we need at the moment when we have the dentistry workshops, my sisters use their surgery because that's how they do the practicals. So we need dentists out there who are willing to give up their surgery for a day, stay in the surgery, help out. We need venues, we need halls, we need community halls, a venue to hold our events, and then we need professionals, journalists, architecture, just any kind of profession that is quite hard to get into. Get in touch and let's work together.
Yeah, so it's the barriers to entry and kids. Sorry,
Yes.
not kids, but young adults who are looking to get in but just don't know how. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, really interesting. Where do people find you? Where can they find you online?
So our events are blasted on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Instagram for the kids, and then Facebook for the dads, right?
LinkedIn for the or else.
Are we on TikTok? Yeah, I know. Are we doing a bit of TikTok?
Yes, we are on TikTok. Kavita is our TikTok queen.
Who does the TikToks?
Kavita,
amazing. I need to look you up on TikTok, Kavita, and see what you're up to. You know what? The only my youngest Sophie loves a bit of TikTok, doesn't she? She's 11. And don't look this up because it's really embarrassing. But you will see some really dodgy dad dancing if you ever look on Sophie's TikTok. That is the extent of my TikTok knowledge. I mean, it'd be interesting for you. Where would you, Charlotte, as somebody who's looking for a profession and have made that choice, where would you look for mentorship, career advice? How would that look for you?
I wouldn't. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm currently at uni on a course, and a lot of the lecturers and teachers are people who were in the profession before and are now retired and in teaching.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a start point, I think. But, if it's before, I wouldn't have had a clue.
Yeah. So what made you decide journalism was the way to go then?
Just love writing.
Yeah.
Love writing.
Yeah.
It seems like the most economic choice for if I want to keep writing for the rest of my life.
That journalism was probably the way to do it.
Yeah.
And where would you look for mentors? What would the platform be?
Not clear.
Don't know. But doing it through uni and getting teachers to
I mean, a lot of the lecturers are people who used to work in their position.
But I suppose the difference, right, is that and again, they're doing an amazing job teaching, but I suppose there's that element of applying the practical day-to-day skills of doing the job or whatever profession it is today that's compared, and that's what you guys are doing, right?
Yeah, definitely. And just going back to it, it's because our workshops, we try and keep the numbers as, probably about maximum 15. So we get that great one-on-one, and it's amazing to see the difference in the students from when they first enter the sort of the building in the morning, the difference in their character to when they're leaving. I mean, they come in a bit apprehensive, maybe a little bit intimidated because everyone's got an image in their head, haven't they, of sort of certain professions. But when they leave, they are buzzing. Like, their faces are lit up. They're so motivated and passionate and enthusiastic. So just to see that difference during the day, it's
But I think part of that is humanising the individuals who are doing the jobs, right? So I think a lot of it feels like, to be a dentist or to be a surgeon or to be an accountant or to be a lawyer, for somebody who's 14, particularly from a background where they may not have seen or met with a lot of those people, seeing and realising that we're all human and actually we're real people. Do you think that has an impact?
Oh, definitely. I mean, most of our students are from all different backgrounds. So I think, some of them who come in and they see, we're quite informal in the way that we do our workshops, and they see, well, actually, they're human. Like I said, you're the human. And I think being, because we hit a lot of those kind of like minority sort of tick boxes. So we're female, you know, with a Asian background, you know, and I think, you know, we're not children off the profession, so there's not that old schoolboys network,
Yeah,
you know,
gotcha.
and you know, so I think for them to see that, it kind of instills in them that, you know what, it's possible, we can do this, you know, we can do that, and I
I
think
love it.
that that's a nice sort of, you know, sort of message to give them, that nothing should really hold you back.
Well, thank you for the work you're doing. It's brilliant. I'm glad that we've had the opportunity to showcase it on the podcast. And I do hope that our audience gets in touch with offers to help. Or if you're a young person listening to the Kindness Project and looking for a mentor in a profession, you get in touch too. Thank you for making interviewing 5 people at the same time so easy. I was nervous at the start, but I think it went all right. Thanks, guys, for joining us on the Kindness Project.
That's great. And thank you so much for inviting us and having us on your podcast. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chris and Charlotte. Thank you.
Now,
I think that's the most difficult one we've ever done, you know.
What interview?
Yeah, in terms of keeping it together where people are not talking over each other and stuff like that.
I mean, it's like, I suppose the bigger like a Zoom call or a conversation like that. But you know what? There was so much insight and humour and you know, perspective shared. I think it actually worked quite well.
I think what you can really get from that, their passion for bringing through the next crop of people definitely shine through.
Sorry, why did you just say the word crop there, Charlotte?
That's a weird analogy.
Apparently that was a weird analogy, Russ, using the word crop. What word would you have...
I don't know, something that doesn't make people sound like produce.
Apparently you made people say, by using the word crop...
Resident wordsmith, she should do it.
Exactly, you're our resident wordsmith. What word would you use?
God, I wish you guys would stop saying that.
Come on, our resident wordsmith.
Give it to a Shakespeare.
Not crop, because that makes people sound like
sweet cold.
Yeah, kind of.
Go on then. What would you use?
I don't know. Generation is always good, if a little basic, but you can add some stuff around it to make it flouncy, like beckoning in the new generation.
Beckoning in the like our resident wordsmith has hit out of the park again. Yeah. Not bringing in the current crop.
That's why she gets paid the big one.
I know. Beckoning in the new generation is what we're going to go for. And on that note, our resident wordsmith has got a joke of the week.
I didn't write this one, but it's fine.
Are you going to write one?
I did once, and it went down like a storm, and I haven't had a flash of inspiration like that since. 2 antennas decided to get married. Ceremony was pretty boring, but the reception was great.
Russ likes it. Russ likes it.
I've got another one.
Go on then.
This is one I've liked for a long time because it's cheesy as anything. I was listening to the radio and I thought I heard The Cure. Turns out it was just the placebo.
On that note, my friends, have a lovely remainder of the week or whenever you're listening to this day. And we'll see you on the Kindness Project very, very soon.
Bye.